Hi, I'm Amy, and I call myself the DIY Dabster. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and thank you for choosing to watch my video. It's time for a fall DIY. Today, I'm inviting you into my DIY den for a tale of three pumpkins. There is a fall pumpkin, a farmhouse pumpkin, and a Halloween pumpkin. I'm going to give a quick tutorial of how I created these. First, let's talk about the supplies you'll need. I will have links to the supplies I used in the description of this video. You will need a pumpkin wire wreath frame from Dollar Tree. You will need some super bulky yarn. Look for this symbol with a 6 in the middle on the label of the yarn. You will need one skein of each color. The brands I used are Lion Brand Woolies Thick and Quick and Bernat Softee Chunky. I purchased the yarn at Joann's using coupons to keep the cost low. You can get other brands at other stores as well. Just make sure it's super bulky yarn. If you wish to use rope, like I did in the fall version, you will need 2 packages of Dollar Tree Nautical rope. Be sure to purchase the packages that have 11.1 feet. The other packages have significantly less rope in them. For the fall version, you need a skein of super bulky yarn that's orange and 2 packages of nautical rope. For the farmhouse version, you will need 1 skein of black super bulky yarn and 1 skein of white super bulky yarn. For the Halloween version, you will need 1 skein of black super bulky yarn and 1 skein of orange super bulky yarn. I highly recommend purchasing a Knitter's Pride wool needle. Knitter's Pride is the brand. It will make the project go much quicker. A wool needle is a metal needle with a loop made of plastic thread. I have found them at Hobby Lobby and on Amazon. Some other supplies that you will need are a glue gun and glue sticks and scissors. To make a bow for your pumpkin, you will need pipe cleaners or zip ties, ribbon, and any florals you wish to put in with your ribbon. You may wonder why I call myself the DIY dabster. My sweet grandfather called someone that did something well or clever a dabster. I also like to dabble in lots of types of crafts and try new types of crafts all the time. I am relatively new to YouTube, so please pardon my rather primitive setup. It is a work in progress, but I was excited to bring you this tutorial, so I went ahead with this video. If you would like to join me on my YouTube journey, please hit the subscribe button below and select all from the menu under the bell. That way YouTube will notify you whenever I post a video. Now let's get the yarn and rope ready. For the fall version, you'll need 3 pieces of orange yarn about 18 feet long and 3 strands of nautical rope. Just open one package to start with, then separate it into 3 separate strands. You will need to remove the tape from the end of the rope and put tape on the end of each strand. Once you have completely separated the strands, put tape on the other end as well. For the farmhouse version, you will need 3 pieces of black yarn about 18 feet long and 4 pieces of white yarn about 18 feet long. For the Halloween version, you will need 3 pieces of black yarn about 18 feet long and 4 pieces of orange yarn about 18 feet long. These pieces of yarn or rope will be wrapped on the wreath frame horizontally. Here you can see how I have my pieces laid out in order to make the Halloween version of the wreath. We'll start in the middle of the frame and work your way down, and then work your way up from the middle. There will be some empty space at the top and bottom, and that is okay. The weaving will spread the yarn out and the bow will cover up the top. To begin, just tie the yarn at the left side using a simple knot. Bring the yarn behind the first vertical wire, then over the front and upward, then around the back again, and you will keep doing this across the frame. Here I'm bringing the yarn under the wire, up and around, then under, up and around, under, and around, up and around, under, up and around. When you get to the right side, just go around the wire and begin to bring the yarn back to the left. This time, when you wrap the vertical wires, go behind the wire, wrap it around the wire, and then when you bring it under the wire again, also go down the wire. It can be a bit confusing, and it will take a while to figure it out. It took me a while, and I had to undo it sometimes, but in the end, it all worked out. So now I'm coming back the other way, going around and down. So I go under and then down and back up. Under, down and back up. Under, down and back up. Under, down and back up. So there, we have 2 rows of yarn. And then now it's time to go back. I'll go back over the same way, going down, around and up, around and up, around and up. You will string the yarn back and forth 8 times for the yarn portions, and if you're using rope, you will string the rope back and forth 4 times. When you finish a color or strand of rope, just tie a simple knot. We'll trim everything up and hide the knots in the end. When you finish the bottom half, you'll begin working your way up the top half. You will need to wrap the yarn the opposite of the way you did the bottom portion, so that you will work your way up the frame. So I go under and up and around, then under and up and around, under, up, around, under, up, around, under, up, around. You come to that other end, And now I'm going above the yarn that I just did, and I'm doing the under and down and around. Under, down and around. And I'm checking to make sure it looks okay. Under, down, and around. Now we will begin weaving. First thing you need to do is cut 4 strands of yarn about 5 feet long each. You will be folding the yarn in half and weaving by holding the ends together. Fold a strand in half and lay it over the top wire. Bring the loop behind the wire and behind the ends of the yarn. Reach up through the loop and pull the ends down through the loop. I have my 4 strands of black yarn tied on the wreath in the middle section, and now I've got my wool needle out that I'm going to use for the weaving. And I'm going to thread the 2 strands through the needle. Now I'm going to start over, under, and proceed across the pumpkin, down the pumpkin, actually. So I've done the orange and the black. And then just keep weaving. As long as the needle stays threaded, it's very easy and it goes really quickly. I'll turn it around so you can get a better look. There we go. All down the pumpkin. Now I'll start with the second set. Now I started the first one with over, so the second one we want to go under, over, under, over. So it'll be the opposite of the first one. And then it's really sped up here. But I am going to show you how I wove this first section. Now if you have the rope, you would just be using 1 strand of rope. You would have 2 pieces that you tied at the top, and there would be a total of 4 strands, and you would weave each one separately. Now, when you do the rest of the sections, you can sort of lay your yarn on the pumpkin to figure out how long the strands need to be. And then you of course, want to leave enough to tuck back up under, so it may not be necessary to cut them at 5 feet. Okay, so there, now we have all 4 woven through, and then we're going to have orange on either side, brown, and then orange on the very end sections. And it'll all kind of spread out and fill in up the pumpkin. Now I'm putting on the finishing touches. I'm showing you how I've glued down the ends and woven the ends at the bottom back up. And once the glue hardens, I just trimmed everything off. Show you here how using my glue gun to fasten that end down. And then to do this one, then I'll just touch more glue to make sure it stays. And now I'm going to show you how I weave the ends back in. And I'm using the black section because I think it's easier for you to see the black and orange rather than the orange and orange. You want all the strings to be on the outside and to wrap around to the back. And again, I'm going to thread them on my needle, and then I just weave them up a few rows. Now I have them all four done, and I'm going to make sure that everything looks okay on the front and things are laying flat. And then I'll take my glue gun and glop on some glue across the orange and the black there. Kind of each little square to hold that yarn behind the orange yarn. I videotaped the bow making, but something was wrong with the file. My computer doesn't like it. So I'm just going to talk about the different bows I made. This one is, the stem is made from brown burlap from Dollar Tree. The green ribbon came from Hobby Lobby in their fall section, and the leaves are ivy leaves that I got from Dollar Tree last spring. This bow on the Farmhouse version, there is some black burlap ribbon at the bottom and around the stem that came from Dollar General. And then the burlap and lace ribbon is from Dollar Tree. The green ribbon is the same ribbon that was on the fall one. That is from Hobby Lobby. And the black and white ribbon is also from Hobby Lobby. And the flower came from a thrift store. Now, the Halloween version, I used burlap leaves, and I didn't have any green ones. You can buy green ones, but I haven't been able to find them. So I just took tan ones from Dollar Tree and painted them green. And then there's some of the black burlap ribbon from Dollar General. The orange ribbon is from the fall section in Hobby Lobby. And then the black ribbon with the orange glitter on it is from Joann. And then I wrapped the stem of this one in brown burlap from Dollar Tree also. I would appreciate it if you would like this video, subscribe, and comment below. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know which version was your favorite or leave a pumpkin emoji. Watch your notifications for a new video. Thank you for watching, and until next time, just keep crafting.